What do we think of the studio? It's kind of
good, and it's a bit of an upgrade.
Yeah, very comfy.
Yeah.
Bit of an upgrade.
Good sofas, these.
It's
Are
nice
they
to
from?
got a bit
Like
of,
a Rolls Royce in a studio.
Are those
Yeah.
sofas comfy? They look comfy.
like-
Yeah.
They are. They've put us back up. You know, our backs are
Yeah.
straight, so it's
Good for
quite
posture.
nice. Yeah,
It's
but
like-
we're all going for cross-legged, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel sorry for
No
us.
man spreading going on.
No.
Yeah, that's
spreading.
yeah. I
Agreed.
don't that. Yeah, that's not nice.
It's
To
like
look
being in
at.
one of those executive lounges at an airport where they have like
Hold on.
free grub.
But there's football and football boots and stuff everywhere.
Well, it's got it's sofas and it's.
Do you get Bovril in executive lounges? There's
Yeah,
Bovril in
should
here.
for it.
Should do. That's
you
what
got
you should
Bovril?
do.
Yeah,
We've
Bovril's
got
here.
Bovril here. Yeah, tin of Bovril. Jar.
Bovril's the
No.
king of hot drinks.
I bother
There's a
I
year's
love Bovril.
supply up there.
I know.
One jar.
yeah,
That's Marmite, isn't
it's
it?
a great joke. That.
Right, let's get on with this show. Welcome to the world's #1 podcast of Soccer A to Z, the people's podcast saving football 1 week at a time whilst helping society. We're working our way through the alphabet from A to Z. Today's letter is Q for quality podcast, and this is it. Helen is here.
Hello.
Joe is here.
Hello.
Tubes is here.
Hello.
And he's back.
Yeah,
the
man.
influencer.
The main event. The walking highlight machine. It's Robbie. Welcome back, Robbie.
Hello.
The walking highlight machine.
That's what he
that.
is.
Yeah.
Before we find out how Robbie's training's getting on with Darren Huckabee, let's trail a bit forward. Let's trail forward like we did last week. We have got Martin Kemp coming up from Spandau Ballet, which is
Spandau Ballet.
Gold.
Gold.
Yeah,
that
that's
true?
gold. Yeah, it's
Always
true.
true.
yes. Robbie wins because
Oh.
he thought something different. Well done. Robbie, how are you? Where were you last week?
Last week I was in France and then New York.
He's just showing off, isn't he?
Yeah.
Showboating, yeah.
How's the training going with Darren Huckabee? Would you manage to do
He
it?
didn't come out to France or New York, surprisingly. And he doesn't know about it.
So what were you doing in France and New York?
Skiing in France, holiday in New York, although I did take a day to go skiing whilst I was in New York.
Where can you?
Wow, that sounds interesting, doesn't it? I imagine you'd like to watch a YouTube video on that.
Oh, is there one?
Oh, there will be, yeah.
Busy influencing. How do you ski in New York then? Where is it?
There is a ski bus that you can get that picks you up at like 6:40 in the morning, takes you to the mountains, 4:30 takes you back to Manhattan.
Is there just one bus? If you miss it, that's it.
Yes. Just don't miss it.
No.
How do you fit it all in?
You just put the luggage in the hold and you sleep. Hey?
So, what were you doing? You were skiing in France, and then you went to New York to influence, and then decided
Yeah.
to ski as well.
Yeah, so I was skiing to make a video in France. That was a press trip. And I came back, stayed overnight at Heathrow Airport, and then flew out the next day with my wife to
Wow.
New York for a few days.
So even when you're on holiday, you're still influencing.
I took one day of the holiday to influence.
Yeah.
The rest of it was
Is it like a
influence-free.
tap influencing that you can turn on and off?
You've got to build up to. You can't just go straight into influencing. You've got to like just do a little bit of casual influencing. Like, have you seen this?
Can you
watch?
get injured if you're not warmed up?
Yeah, you can just over-influence.
Can you ever master influencing?
Look, you never truly master it, but you can get world class. I think. Yeah, you know, Tubes, you influence.
Well,
The
Robbie,
goat. The goat.
Yeah, a noble trade.
Did you take Robbie? Did you take your own skis with you? Did you take your own skis to France and
Took
then
my own
New York?
ski boots, but not skis.
Yeah, because that's a bit of luggage, isn't it, to be hauling around the world?
Yeah, it's a bit of a hassle that. But
Robbie, I do love you. You are a walking highlight machine, but we did a really good podcast last week.
I listened to it. I'm a
Yeah,
fan.
we did
nice
miss
to meet
you.
my heroes.
Well, we did miss you, but it was still good without you.
It was very good.
Had everything, didn't it?
Did have everything. It was a good show. If you haven't listened to last week's, go and listen to it. And I've got some admin, some housekeeping from last week's show to bring you. Craig says, lovely shout out for Basingstoke Tesco's on Soccer A to Z today. That podcast really is saving football 1 week at a time whilst helping society.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to shout out their supermarkets, we can. What sort of shop do you do every week, Robbie? Do you do a weekly shop? What do you do?
Well, I was listening to as I listened to this, I was thinking of this at the time. I actually worked at Tesco's for a bit, so I've got a bit of Tesco loyalty. I like to go to the big Tesco in Norwich. I don't...
Hold on, can I just stop you there?
Please.
I do remember that there was a stage in your influencing career that you used to go to shops and take us on a shop with you.
I did a video called £55 Mega Sainsbury's Hall, I think, would do very well. Well, that was pre-inflation, though. You wouldn't get loads for £55 now, would you? But
What did you do on that?
Just bought a bag of stuff. Because, like, girl influencers do stuff where they go and do a haul of, like, clothes and stuff. I just did my, like, weekly shop.
There's a lot of crap on YouTube, isn't there?
Yeah, mostly on me.
Andy says, my thoughts on why Tim couldn't win with his P for proof. Did you hear that last week, Robbie? Proof that no one knows anything about football. He said, Andy goes on to say, he said no one knows anything about football, but given the example used, I would argue that Claudio Ranieri does. Though I would argue back that Nigel Pearson would know because it was his team who actually went and won it. It wasn't Claudio Ranieri.
Yeah, but he couldn't get a tune out of them. They nearly went down. And whereas Ranieri got a tune out of that same team, didn't he?
Did he? Is it exactly the same? Was it? Hold on. Was it that season? Because I know, speaking to people who know about Leicester City, is they made massive changes to that club. Apparently their training facilities are second to none.
It's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best. It's got a golf course on it.
Has it?
Yeah.
So it's behind the scenes stuff which happened. I looked up who Claudio Ranieri signed, and apart from Kante, the rest of it was pretty decent, as we all know. The rest of it was all Nigel Pearson's team. So I don't think I stand corrected. No one knows anything about football. 8068 says, just watching yesterday's podcast with Tim talking about playoffs. There were playoffs between different league teams. The bottom two relegated, the top team were promoted, third and fourth played off to play the third bottom team. I don't know what
Much
that
better
means.
system that was.
It was one team. So two went down. Hold on.
Two went down.
Stephen says, just listening to the P episode, loving it, by the way. You were right. Borough relegated Chelsea to the second division. A pitch invasion after the second leg. Got the game called the Battle of Stamford Bridge. I didn't know that. So the third bottom team, who was Chelsea, played against there was a playoff.
Yeah, and then the winner of the playoff would play against that. Because it went on for longer in Scotland, I think. I think it carried on a bit longer there.
But too much at stake with
that's
that.
That's much better. You get a chance to stay up.
Too much at stake. Yeah, that is cool, though, isn't it?
It's so much better.
Do you think they should bring that back?
Maybe they should bring all the relegations, the top three. If you're top, you play bottom, and just do it for all three, just one-off games.
Massive playoff. Get like America at the end of the season, they have a massive playoff.
Yeah.
Why not get them all to play off against each other?
Yeah.
Because with the teams in the champion, I suppose, they played that whole season though to come up.
That's what I mean. It's not fair.
Yeah,
the last one's fair. Yeah. You can't do more.
Yeah, all right. James says, why do fans who have paid £50 plus a ticket, £7 a pint, enjoy being told by millionaire footballers to cheer louder? That's not come on, you're rubbish. Well, I pay 50 quid. I can do what I want. That's quite funny, isn't it? Helen, how's the farm?
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, still dealing with all the mud and stuff. But the foster pigs went to their new home last Wednesday, which... No, they've gone to a farm in Worcester where they're going to live out the rest of their piggy lives. But there's always a little bit of jeopardy when you move pigs, because the trailer is in the drive and where they were living is like half an acre away. So I had to run them across the garden with a packet of biscuits and a bucket full of pig nuts and hope that they follow you and go onto the trailer. And luckily there was no dramas. The packet of digestives worked. On the trailer they went and off to their new home.
What are pig nuts?
Yeah, that was my question.
What are pig nuts? Yeah. It's food for pigs.
What's in it?
Layers, pellets. You get everything. It comes in like a pellet or a nut form for animals. So
how fast can a pig run?
Quite fast.
Probably legging it.
I reckon,
quite fast. They do pig racing. There's people who you can hire pig racing for your event.
I've seen it at Garson's farm. Pig racing.
Yeah,
it's a real spectacle.
I reckon they can run 35k.
I reckon a pig would beat you over 100 metres, Joe.
Over 100 metres?
Yeah, I reckon a pig would do you.
I'll take that.
Yeah. Should we do that?
We organise that?
Yeah. You race
Joe
a pig.
I'll have that.
Yeah.
Helen can ride in front with some pig nuts and some whatever you like, gravy, to encourage you both along.
Helen, how much of your day is spent clearing up animal feces?
Yeah, a lot. It's a lot. I did a big muck at the weekend of the all the chicken pens. It's quite gross.
Oh, it stinks chicken.
Yeah, and it's this time of year as well because it's dark, like 4:30, 5
Yeah.
o'clock. So they're in bed. In the summer, they don't go to bed until 10 o'clock. So they're only pooping till
I was
5 in the
rummaging
morning.
around
but
on the internet the other day,
Okay.
right? And there was this
Yeah.
bloke saying, actually, it was a lady saying that where humans get parasites from most is from their pets, and that being in close contact with animals is not the greatest idea in the world because they carry a lot of parasites. So if small holding like that, bird flu.
Swine flu.
Swine flu. What about that other one we had?
Chicken pox.
Oh yeah, COVID. They all come from animals. We shouldn't be too close to our animals, should we, Helen? Because they rummage around in feces and stuff. Is that
all
true?
right. 17 years and counting of living here on a small holding with multiple animals.
How many times you had worms?
Never.
Never.
No, I don't worm, tick and flea my dogs either. I've got 6 dogs on a small holding and I do not subscribe to the monthly flea, tick, worm thing because they don't have fleas, ticks I pick the odd tick off, but that's not a problem.
Oh,
Just
great.
pick
I
it
think
off.
I get worms from my kids more than I do my cats.
Have your kids have worms?
Well, there's been worms in the house and they're the prime suspects, yeah. But
Oh, hang
I suppose it could
garden
be the
worms.
Right. Okay. Have your kids had lice? Head
Yeah,
lice?
every kid's had head
God,
lice.
Head lice is a nightmare tube. You've got all that to come.
I can't
Trying to
wait.
get rid of the head lice.
Yeah.
Have you had,
You need a
have you had
special
head lice in
comb
your
and stuff,
house?
don't you?
Not that I can
With
recall.
your hair, God, if you've got head lice, that'd be a nightmare. How are you
Yeah,
gonna
the
get a comb
kids-
through that?
yeah.
The size of wood lice.
Doormat.
Still be in there.
Can't get a you could not get a lice comb through that, could you?
Yeah.
Never
Get a
tried.
rake.
Never combed it in my life.
Tubes, what? Haven't you? Do you own a brush?
No.
Tubes.
Yeah.
How's your week been? Anything to report?
My week's been good. It's going to get more entertaining as well. Tomorrow I'm going baby shopping.
For a baby.
Oh, you can buy one.
Just pick a baby. Apparently you go to like somewhere like John Lewis and you sort of go in there and you look at all the different things like prams and stuff like that.
Can I recommend something? Because I
Absolutely.
did this. Is try the prams out, get them, and then give them a
Get in
Oh,
it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
get in there, push them around,
Yeah.
and don't be one of those idiot men who I see walking around who walk with a pram to the side because they can't push it because they don't think it's masculine. It's just
no.
pushing a pram's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
But get in and practice them. What's fashionable at the moment? The
bugaboo.
Bugaboos.
That's
yeah.
what a load of people. I put a post out yesterday on Instagram
Yeah.
just because I don't really know what I'm doing.
Do you know what you want to consider? You
and
want
they said bugaboo.
Yeah, but you see a lot. They're quite bulky. You got to make sure if you've got narrow pavements, you don't want one of these massive things there.
Right.
The
Things
way
like
you
that.
want to test them is to see how easy it is to get it down to get in the boot of the car as
Yeah.
well.
Exactly.
'Cause
See
you've
if it
got
works on golf courses as well.
Well, right, you take your
Mugger
baby on a
eye.
golf
Get your
course.
clubs on the back of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My advice for parenting is to learn how to take out the car seat because that's the thing that people don't do, and then you just have to make up excuses why you can't drive people in your car because you don't know how to take the car seat out. Once you learn how to do it, it opens up the world.
Okay.
It's not actually that hard, Tube. Don't worry about it.
I've
A lot of people
For
don't do
first
it.
days.
Yeah, a lot of people don't take out the car seat ever.
Yeah.
I might have some lessons.
So what else are you doing?
So talking about golf, we've got Joe Marler on Golf Life on Thursday, the rugby player, and he's a massive, massive character. So very, very much looking forward to that. So yeah, baby shopping and then filming with Joe Marler. So
Joe, what you been up to?
Why do you always ask me? Last
yeah, it's my
one. He's
birthday
been
as
to
well.
New York and France, and he's playing golf with Joe Marler. I don't.
I'm asking you because you're sitting in the room next to me. I don't want to be rude and say let's not find out what
Yeah.
Joe's been up to.
Been
He doesn't want to
watching a lot of snooker, really. Yeah, I've been watching the Masters. Been glued to it.
Have you?
Yeah, I love it.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you play
10 years
still?
on, didn't it? He won on 10 years on.
Sean Murphy.
Sean
yeah,
Murphy.
147 Saturday
Yeah.
afternoon. It's unbelievable. Amazing. Lovely it was.
Nice new studio, as we know,
Very nice. Yeah.
but it is getting a bit chilly in here. Don't
I was
you
just
think?
about to say,
it's
it
cool
is
in here.
freezing.
I can feel the temperature dropping. Can you?
This is why I never turn
That
up.
can only mean one thing.
He's running down the left, he's running down the right, he's running down the left, he's running down the right. Cole, Palmer, is dynamite. It's Cold Palmer.
It's called So cool, he's turned himself into Cold Palmer once more. The Marvel character everybody wants. Cold Palmer grabs for a scarf. But whose scarf is it?
Is that teeth chattering?
It is teeth chattering. It's blue and it's white.
Chelsea.
Colchester United.
It's got a shape of a shield on it.
Portsmouth.
Wycombe Wanderers.
There's a horse on the shield.
Ipswich.
On the other side of the shield, it's black and white stripes.
Gillingham.
There's a nickname on it. I'm reading it as the Gills.
Gillingham.
But it's probably the Gills, isn't it? What do they say, Gills or Gills? They're rivals.
No, you used to say Gills on Soccer AM just to annoy them.
Gills, yeah. I've just, in my mind, I looked at it and went, that's the Gills, and then thought it can't be called the Gills. It must be the Gills, right? Their rivals are, yes, it is Gillingham. Well done. You all did very well. Their rivals are whom or who?
Used to be
They're quite isolated, aren't they?
That's why it's interesting.
Yeah. South End, a bit further up.
No, it's not them.
No, it's not.
Charlton.
Charlton, correct.
Used to be Maidstone, but they died.
Used to be what?
They're not Maidstone. It's still going. They had a cup
run. They're back, but they weren't. They died for a bit. They were in the league.
George Ellacobe, cup run at Ipswich. I was there.
There's three. They've got three rivals: Charlton,
Millwall,
and
Crystal Palace.
No, it's Swindon.
A Belgian team.
Some incident back
I
in the day.
knew there was some weird. I knew they had like a weird rival.
Something happened where a lino got assaulted by some fans back in the day, and that created that rivalry. So
Tony Pulis was managing them in that game, wasn't he? When they lost to City.
What game?
That playoff game, whenever it was.
Yeah.
In the 90s.
Clive Mendonca?
No, the one where City were losing, and Andy, what's his name?
Paul
Dickoff.
Paul
Dickoff scored, and Andy Morrison was the skipper on him. Liam Gallagher was banging on the glass. Do you remember it?
Yeah.
Tony Pulis was managing Gillingham.
Helen, have you got any cues from our listeners this week?
I have. Tom Colmore says, quickly taken corners.
Yes, good.
Yes. Liverpool Barca. David Roberts, Nigel Quasi, what a legend.
Mm-hmm.
Sim, the best part of the FA Cup for us in non-league. I don't know who Sim supports, but qualifying rounds. Yes, the FA Cup starts in August, not January. There are 6 qualifying rounds before the first round proper, and a chance for the dream.
Getting knocked out later on.
Getting beaten 9-0 by Premier League team.
Craig Langley, quick players. Everyone loves a pacey player. And also said it's pretty good attribute for some players who have that little bit of help and masking on actually how bad they are.
Yeah.
Get
found out when they're 26.
Yeah.
Mbappe's the quickest player, isn't he? I think, to be registered. Recorded, I think so, yeah.
Oh, didn't he pip Kyle Walker or something by 0.1 of a second or something like that?
I've got here, Ron Johnson says he's a quality player. He's a quality player. Step above good, step below class. What does that mean? He's a step above good and a step below class.
Good
He's
player.
a quality player.
Class player.
Right.
Yeah. Quality player.
Quality.
And Michael Brennan says he's short, he's round, he's worth £1 million, Mickey Quinn. Have you got any others, Helen, or is that it?
Yeah. Johnny Earl just says Queen of the South. So
that's good. That's good. I've got some questions coming in. Liam says, what's the greatest football kit of all time? Don't answer it now, guys. We'll answer that on Friday. Any regrets from the Soccer AM days? Would you do things differently if you go back? I've got one thing that I would do. We'll talk about that on Friday. And if you could pick one legend to come back and play for your team now, who would it be? Okay, I think we could all answer that one. We will answer those on Friday. Where's the crown? Oh no!
Where's the crown? We've moved studios, but the crown has
not
gone.
Not been unpacked, chap.
No,
the removal van.
Who won last week? Does anyone remember? It wasn't
Joe.
me.
Yeah, it was.
Why did you
Joe
win?
with his brilliant
Really
was it?
Park.
Really good.
Parks,
Ground.
yeah.
Oh yeah, he just did a long list of football grounds, but actually it was quite entertaining.
It was good
because it made you sort of get all the grounds together in one. Yeah, I actually quite like. Did you like that one, Robbie?
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Bit of work went into that.
I was playing along at home. Well, not at home. I was on an aeroplane, but I was playing along.
A lot of Googling went into that. Okay, so what is your cue for today?
Me?
Yeah. Well,
Every week.
Yes, you.
Every week.
You won. It's winners always starts. That's the thing.
Right, well, Q...
Unless Robbie wins, which he's never here.
Q's a tricky one, isn't it? But is it as tricky as the quadruple?
Oh.
The quadruple, the holy grail of silverware. It's always on, isn't it? It's always on until about March, until their arse goes and they get knocked out of the League Cup or whatever, or the Cup or whatever. Is it ever doable, the quadruple? Nobody in any of Europe's top 5 leagues has ever won the quadruple. I'm talking about the true quadruple here.
What's Champions League?
Champions League, and the 2 domestic cups.
But does every league have 2 domestic cups?
Yeah, they do.
They?
Yeah.
What about throwing the Community Shield in there?
Don't count.
No?
Community Shield don't count.
What comes after quadruple? What's
It's a treble, isn't it?
What?
Quintuple.
Quintuple.
Oh, the treble.
Quintet.
Well, some teams have won 4 trophies
say,
in a season,
yeah.
but it's not the true quadruple. You can't count the Club World Cup or the UEFA Super Cup, whatever that is. They don't count.
Can you count the UEFA Cup? Europa?
Well, no, because it's not the pinnacle, is it? It's not like the Champions League. It's not like the...
Well, those are always the League Cup because people put out their resis and their kids.
You still got to win the cup, haven't you?
Okay.
The 2 domestic cups.
All right.
The closest anyone's got over here to the true quadruple is the treble, obviously. You can't count the Community Shield, as we've said. Manchester United in 99, they lost in the League Cup quarters. And Manchester City in 2019, they lost in the Champions League quarters. And, get this, in a cruel twist of fate, both were denied the quadruple by the same team.
Oh.
Do you know who that is?
Who? No.
Those naughty boys of Tottenham Hotspur. Beat United in the League Cup that season in 99 and beat City in the Champions League quarterfinals.
If anyone was going to do it, it would have been City, wouldn't it?
Well,
if anyone, they would. Do you think City have been the most dominant? I think they have. Don't you?
What English team? I'd say the Barcelona team of 5.
No,
6.
but the most dominant English team
City.
Liverpool were good, but I think City really dominated.
I think you need money to be able to do it because you need a lot of players to play that many
Big
games
squad.
in a season.
Depth.
So I think it will be one of the richer ones.
I'm not sure it's ever doable. Remember, it was on for Liverpool a couple of years ago. Was it last year?
I think it will happen.
And they went. I'm not sure. Last point. The only team to have ever done the quadruple, the true quadruple, is Celtic in 1967.
Wow.
Won the Scottish First Division, the Scottish Cup, the Scottish League Cup, and the European Cup.
Well done, Celtic.
Wow.
Well done, Joe.
That's good. That's
nice.
solid, isn't it?
It's nice.
It's a good start.
It's really nice.
Cheers. Beat
Who wants
that.
to go next? Should we get Robbie because he's been away? This is going to be good because he's been away.
It is good, actually.
It's going to be awesome.
I'm pretty.
Unlike the rest of us, who it's like when you're on Strictly, you've got to learn a new dance.
Yeah.
But he's had
the
2
American Smooth.
He's had 3 weeks to prepare.
Yeah.
Dancing the American Smooth. Robbie Knox.
Okay,
Right,
for
this
me,
is going to be good. This is going to be
It's
good.
going to be so good.
my
this
cue is for Queens and Kings, royal families' interest in football.
Who?
So we're going to go through some royals.
Yeah,
and I want to know
get all these.
who
Joe
they support.
Royal.
We'll start with an easy one, Prince William.
Villa.
Villa.
Okay. Well, why did he get into Villa?
Purple. Royal colour.
He said to Gary Lineker in 2015, a long time ago at school, got into football big time. I was looking around for clubs. All my friends at school were either Man U fans or Chelsea fans. I didn't want to follow run-of-the-mill teams. Ooh, big.
Oh, run of the mill.
I wanted to have a team that was more mid-table and could give me more emotional rollercoaster moments. Aston Villa always had a great history. And he's a big fan. He went to watch Villa in the Europa League on his daughter Prince Charlotte's 9th birthday.
Didn't he say this week that goes anonymously on the Villa chat
Possibly.
rooms?
He went the other day to Wetherspoons in Birmingham New Street Station to meet some Villa fans for a pint before the Everton game.
Good on him.
Yeah.
Absolute geezer.
I've met him.
Have you?
I've met both the princes.
I've met him.
I've interviewed him at the FA, and it's amazing because I met a lot of celebrities in my time being an international TV personality, and the 2 most famous people I think I've met are the princes. Let's call them as one. I went clubbing once with Prince Harry by mistake, But it was good fun.
By mistake.
Well, I went clubbing with some friends, and they were meeting up with Prince Harry. Bizarrely, I ended up in a nightclub with Prince Harry. Nice bloke, you know.
Yeah.
In fairness, this was years.
He
ago,
loves it, doesn't he?
Yeah, it was good. It was just a
I don't
night.
think he's allowed to anymore.
Oh, is he not? Okay.
But everyone acts very strangely around those two because they're regarded so famous, you know. And the security around them I thought was amazing because they were just really quite low key, you know. They were just there, but their security is really good. But the other one is David Beckham. I mean, the fame of David Beckham was unbelievable. I literally walked with him when I was doing the documentary around a corner. This girl saw him, screamed and fell to the floor. I was like, what? It's like, because he is so mega famous. So
That's like me when I hang around with Robbie.
Yeah, the influence rubs off. Yeah.
Will happen, yeah.
Like Beatlemania.
I think the thing about being normal in front of somebody who's so famous, the thing that's so difficult is you know everything about them. So you can't, when you meet somebody, you know, oh, hi, how are you? What do you do for a living? Where do you live? There's no banal chit chat that you can do with somebody who's mega famous. I remember when at the Soccer Sixes, and I was walking, Robbie Williams was walking up, and I thought, oh, I've never met him before. And he stopped and he went, you all right? And I went, yep. Okay, bye. Because you do chit chat. How's the family?
Robbie,
how are the kids?
Yeah, but you had an in with Robbie, Port Vale. You could have gone straight in there.
Oh,
you know
when we met him at Adidas, we walked into, we were picking some stuff bizarrely, and we went there, and just before we got to the room, they said, oh, Robbie Williams is in there, and we went, oh, all right. You and I looked at each other, and as we opened the door, he pointed and he went, oh, we ate Torquay and we ate Torquay.
Well,
we are the Torquay. He finished the song, and I just went, what have we ever done to Port Vale? And he went, true, I suppose. Then he stood up, leant across the table and went, hi, Robbie Williams. And I went, yeah, I know.
The thing is, when we went that day, Helen, we were told we can have a pair of trainers, we can have a tracky top and a top or something. So there's about 3 or 4 things, and we were like so excited. Got a pair of trainers, got a tracksuit top. You know, it was kind of early days, I think, of Soccer Am. And Robbie was just allowed one of everything.
he was leafing through this you got a catalogue and a pen, and he was leafing through the catalogue, and he was just ticking stuff.
One of those. Yeah, you got a free pen. Right, back to Robbie. Yeah, so
Prince Harry.
Villa. Prince Harry supports
Chelsea.
Wrong.
Oxford United.
More of a rugby fan, but he has claimed in the past that he and most members of the royal family support Arsenal. Said.
That's the Queen. She supports Arsenal.
No, again, you're wrong, but we're not got to that yet. Next we're doing Kate Middleton.
Oh, she's a
Reading.
Millwall.
Rotherham.
Chelsea.
Yeah.
The news was revealed by a child who met the royal during a charity event in 2015 and said they high-fived the princess because she supports Chelsea and I support Chelsea.
Do you know who her favourite player is?
Ooh, it's getting cold in here. Ooh.
Queen Camilla.
Millwall.
Not known who she supports, but on a recent trip to Aberdeen, she met Aberdeen and former Torquay defender Angus MacDonald.
Angus MacDonald, yeah, our captain.
There we go.
Okay.
Angus described meeting her as one of those top 3 moments at his time at the club, which does make you wonder what the other 2 were.
Apart from Prince William, do you actually know if any of these people support a team, or just
the Queen,
Arsenal.
Late Queen?
Arsenal.
Wrong.
It's on all over the internet. It was going to be one of the questions.
You've had 3 weeks to prepare for this, Robbie.
Wrong.
West Ham.
West Ham. Yeah, Helen knows.
It's Arsenal.
The revelation came after she overheard Palace staff discussing their favourite teams, with one naming West Ham's arch rivals Millwall. A source told the Mirror. She gave up her secret after overhearing one of her staff members say she was a Millwall fan, and then said that she was a West Ham fan.
That is just absolute nonsense.
King Charles.
King Charles. He supports, don't know.
Burnley.
Funny, why? Because they play in claret, and it's
he started supporting the club after doing charity work there. He was rewarded with a season ticket from the club, and on a visit to the town in 2010, he wore a Burnley FC badge on his lapel. Speaking about his support for the team, he said, Burnley have been through some very challenging times. I'm trying to find ways of helping to regenerate and raise aspirations to self-esteem in that part of the world. You cut me, I bleed claret. If I see any Blackburn fans at the Palace, they're going home in an ambulance. Modern day Royals are better football fans than old day Royals. In 1314, King Edward II banned football.
Why?
Hooliganism.
Did he?
Yeah, people getting fights because of it.
When was it?
1314.
1314.
Yeah.
Season 13-14.
1314, 1315, yeah. He said it was banned. He said you get imprisoned if you played football. But some old Royals are all right because apparently in 1526, King Henry VIII ordered a pair of football boots. I don't know where from.
JD.
That had a nightmare in the middle, but it turned out to be quite good, didn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, before we get to Helen or Tubes, let's do Stat Chat. Thank you all for sending in your stat chats. Paul Marshall said Theo Walcott has scored more Champions League goals than R9. Walcott 15, R9 14. That's good.
That's
isn't it?
really good.
Is that an actual favourite?
Is that a stat or a fact?
It's a fact.
Port Vale were the only team to have beaten the 91 of the 92 teams in the Football League. Are the only team to have beaten. Bromley is the last team that they need to beat. April the 12th is the game date. We need to make a note of that because if they could end up beating all 92, everyone's got to be supporting Port Vale that day.
My birthday.
Yeah, but hang on.
Let's get Robbie Williams on the phone.
Should we go?
So does that mean they've played them already and lost to them?
I don't know. I just do
They
must have
be
played
if
them.
they're playing it, if they're playing them in April.
Or they might have drawn. Anyway, that was Stat Chat.
Oh, yeah.
Right, who wants to go first? Tubes or Helen? Or me? Oh, let's leave me till last. I'm great this week. I've got a really good one. It's a little bit different. Helen, let's go with
ladies
you.
first. Ladies
Let's go with
first.
Women's lib, you go first. No, I'll go first. All right, my cue is quotes, football quotes.
Oh,
like
good.
it.
Yeah, I'm going to start with probably two of the most famous quotes in football history. 1995, after Cantona had kicked the Palace fan, he was given a community order and then he was ordered to do a press conference. And he said, when the seagulls follow the trawler, it is because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. The whole country went crazy for this. They went, Tana's gone Fruit Loops. What's he on about? What's all this cryptic stuff? So obvious now. They're talking about the feeding frenzy from the press. Because they followed him and other footballers everywhere all the time for scraps of anything they could put in the papers. It was right in the middle of the whole press doorstepping decade, wasn't it? Celebrity news was worth money. The next
it was such a beautiful way of putting it. It was like a French philosopher. Just brilliant.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
And exactly true. Because they think that sardines are going to be thrown in the sea. So press following footballers thinking they're going to kiss someone in a minute or throw a punch or neck a pint. So they just kept following them until it happened.
Do you think it would have come across as poetic if it had been said by Colton Palmer or Dennis Wise or
he had that,
an English person?
Enigma, didn't he?
Yeah. It's the accent, isn't it? We always assume that the fancy foreign footballer's smart because he's got an accent, right? Right.
A lot of the best quotes are from the fancy foreign footballers as well. But I think close behind that one, when I think of football quotes, the two that spring to my mind straight away is Bill Shankly. There are a couple of versions of the quote. Some people believe football is a matter of life and death. I am very disappointed with that attitude. I can assure you it is much, much more important than that. Or some people think football is a matter of life and death. I assure you it's much more serious than that. Well, during my research, because I was like, well, what did he actually say? I found out that neither are correct. The only record of the quote was when he was on Granada TV's Afternoon at 2 in 1981 and said, he was quoting, he said, somebody said that football's a matter of life and death to you. And I said, listen, it's more important than that. So regardless, sentiment is the same and it's a great quote. From there, though, I've tried to avoid all of the other ones that everybody knows, because I could just trot out Keegan, Warnock, Holloway, Clough, although Clough's saying I wouldn't say I was the top manager in the business, but I was in the top one, is absolutely brilliant. But I've tried to avoid just going down the obvious route. Johan Cruyff said, statistics prove that players actually have the ball for 3 or 4 minutes during a match. The important thing is what you do during the 87 minutes without the ball.
Not only did Cruyff invent skill before Johan Cruyff did the Cruyff turn, there was no such thing as skill in football.
Just passing and tackling.
Just passing and tackling. But if you actually look at his quotes, that you can find them obviously listed on the internet. He said so many wise things about football. The guy absolute genius. That's very good, Helen.
Yeah. Apparently he went to Ajax, right? And like with kids, like when they're about 8 or 9, there's always one who's miles bigger and he's just much more physical and better. He went to Ajax and said, instead of putting the kids in age groups, under 8s, under 10s, under 11s, whatever, he said, why don't you get all the bigger ones get them to play together? So they're all of us equal.
Where did he... Yeah, go on.
And I think they just told him to bugger off. They said, no, you're talking nonsense.
Where did he want to put Sonny Pike?
Yeah.
There'll be a few people listening going, Sonny Pike. I remember Sonny Pike.
Can we get Sonny Pike on as a guest if he's listening?
Wonder what Sonny Pike does now. Probably plays in Dubai. Actually, probably retired. Anyway, Helen.
I want to rattle through a few more because there are so many. Bobby Robson talking about Newcastle's discipline issues. We don't want our players to be monks. We want them to be better football players because a monk does not play football at this level. Neymar, I love this one from Neymar. Football is the most important of the less important things in the world. So true. But Tim, I put this one in for you. Sepp Herberger, legendary German manager, said the ball is round, the game lasts for 90 minutes, and everything else is just theory.
There you go. No one knows anything about football.
No one knows anything about football. But Diego Forlan says everyone has problems and football is the cheapest therapist.
Yeah, that's also good, isn't it? People get a lot of relief from football. Yeah.
Go and shout for 90 minutes.
I feel like that. I said this on the podcast before, but I feel like they're my friend. When I tune into Sky Sports or BT or any of them, I feel like they're my friends, and I feel like the players, I feel I'm part of it. I'm part of something. They're my friends talking to me. It gives me a bit of relief. That's why I love Monday Night Football and stuff. I like watching the pre-out. I love. Do you see Emmanuel Petit's hair last night? You tune in,
yes.
Or you see Daniel Sturridge. Who's the bloke who took? What's his name? Danny Rose the other day turned up in a brilliant outfit. They should say you can come. You can come on telly, but you got to wear a good outfit. You got to wear some rascal gear, otherwise you're not allowed on the. Daniel Sturridge ticks that box, right?
Yeah, but he had about 100 bracelets on, didn't he?
I just saw his hair.
So cool.
I was fixated by his hair.
Looked like an absolute.
So
with the old festival wristband.
Friendship bracelet.
They must sting.
Brilliant. Well done, Helen.
Oh, may I just finish with Zlatan?
Zlatan's the best.
Because, exactly. Only because I think that if I did, people would say, oh, you didn't mention Zlatan. It was so hard to pick Zlatan's best quote. I think maybe I'm going to revisit Zlatan from my Z and just do a whole page of Zlatan quotes. But the first one is, when you buy me, you're buying a Ferrari. If you drive a Ferrari, you put premium petrol in the tank, you hit the motorway, you step on gas. Pep Guardiola filled up with diesel and took a spin in the countryside. He should have bought a Fiat.
Whoa.
And this exchange with a reporter ahead of the 2014 World Cup qualifying playoffs. Zlatan, only God knows who will go through. The reporter, it's hard to ask him. Zlatan, you're talking to him.
Right, good. We've all done our. Have we done all our cues apart from Tubes and myself?
Yeah.
Right, so Tubes, go for it.
Right, it's quite a quick one. I'm not going to go through the whole back catalogue, but Q is for question. Tubes is question.
One question only.
One question and one question only. I want to ask you, Tim, why did you think that guy in the nappy who's been running around with a can of beer and doing the conga for 4 years, why did you think, let's give him one question only?
I think I've said this before on the podcast maybe, but I was looking around at all the guys and they were all doing really exciting things on the show and everyone worked too hard. And I thought one of the payoffs was everyone got to mess about on telly. And it was good fun, right? Messing
Yeah.
about on telly, having a laugh, and we all had a laugh. And I was looking at you, and you were running around just doing the nappy thing. I was thinking, and I just felt Tubes. Rocket had started getting. Do you remember Rocket was brilliant in his little soap thing? What was it called? Where he was doing.
It was on a bus.
Yeah, he was on a bus, wasn't he? Talking
Bad language.
Bad language.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he
language.
kept on
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
stuff, and he was coming out of the lockers as well. And you were the main man there, really, really nice bloke, one of the main crew, like everybody else. And you hadn't got anything, and I was thinking he needs something. What can we give him? And so I don't know, out of desperation comes inspiration, and I just went, give him one question only, and you took it and delivered weekly, apart from as you explained the first week, where you
absolutely balls the first week. But I just remember, like, we were talking about it the other day, like getting the headlock from Denzel Washington, just getting walked down a hotel lobby, like, and where the rap came from. It's just like the amount of people I met through doing that one question and one question only was absolutely bizarre.
You took the opportunity and you grabbed it. What was what was it like for you though? Because it was quite late on in every show. Was there a thing where like a best man hates a wedding because they got to wait? You know, they absolutely hate it until after their speech, don't they?
Yeah.
Is it like that? Were you not enjoying the show, waiting for your one question? Or you,
exactly that. But it wasn't just the show day; it was the whole week. I'd be so nervous about doing the question, especially when you told me the summer before. So you told me at the end of the season about this is what you're doing next season. So I had the whole summer
to sweat it.
I was bricking myself because all I'd done is dress in a nappy and dance around. Then Tim's gone, oh, you've got one question only. You do what you want. He's like, I'm not going to help you, but you've got 3 lives. So I was like, oh my God, like, I've got to go on and speak on live TV because I was so shy. I never ever wanted to be like on the camera and stuff like that. So when I was doing the nappy, I was like, this is a bit bizarre. And then when Tim said, right, you've got to go on and actually have your own part, and then it's like toilet tissue came and all the lights dimmed down. I was behind the back every single week, just like bricking it. And then we started doing the film junkets. So then they go like, yo, today you're going to meet Bruce Willis. I'm like, oh my God. And I remember you used to sit in a holding room, and then when you were coming up like next, they'd take you, there'd be a chair outside the room. So you'd sit outside the room, and then you could hear through the door like Bruce Willis getting interviewed. And I was petrified.
Did you interview? Did you do a question to Bruce Willis?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The maddest story is they came out. So they said, right, we've seen what you do, Tubes. That's what they call the Americans.
Tubes.
That's what the Americans got. They said,
like
we've seen what you do, but we're not sure if Bruce will like the rapping part of it. You know, the intro bit you do when you go and all that. And I went, all right. They went, so can you do it to an empty chair, and then we'll bring him in for the question? And I was like, what? I was like, no, well, it doesn't work because you've got to see the reaction, and there's 2 cameras, and if I'm just doing the rap to no one. So they were like, oh, okay, well, we'll see what Bruce says. And the most bizarre thing I've ever seen as well, so I'm outside the room waiting for Bruce, because then he agreed to, he was like, I'll just sit there and do it. They didn't even ask him, they're just scared to how to react.
It's never the person.
It's never the person. This is the funniest thing. So I'm sat outside the room, and all of a sudden the door burst open, and 3 or 4 people have run like proper, like, I'm like, oh my goodness, what's happened here? Is poor Bruce all right? And I'm like, I said, what's up? And they were like, oh, Bruce is hungry. So all these people just, it was so, I was like, that's the reaction. And they were like, quickly. And I was like, what is going on?
And how did he take it?
He was cool.
He
was unbelievable. I can't remember.
You can't remember?
I can't remember what I asked.
You only
Bruce
had one question and
I
you
know,
can't remember.
It was so long ago,
question.
Tim. But he was cool. He was proper cool, Bruce Willis.
Mate, I think that's very strong, and well done. I think everyone's done very strong cues, and that leaves just one more.
Here we go.
Okay, guys, time to meet our guest. He is an Arsenal fan, but don't hold that against him, because he's had 4 top 10 UK albums, 10 top 10 UK singles. He's played Reggie Cray from the Crays. He's starred in EastEnders. He's won unbelievable amount of awards, and these days he's Roman's dad. It is, of course, Martin Kemp. Martin,
I'm so proud of that as well. I think when you have kids, the thing every parent wants is for your kids to do better than you. And listen, he's rocking at the moment, so I'm very proud of him.
He's doing well.
He's a good lad.
Yeah, and he's a nice bloke as well, because I've interviewed him a few times. He's a top man. Listen, I want to talk to you first about your DJ sets, because you're going around now. You've turned yourself into a bit of a DJ, and you're doing these back to the 80s DJ sets. Are you enjoying them?
I absolutely love it. I'll tell you. In fact, I will be absolutely honest, it is the best thing I have ever done in my life. It is being in a room that is pure joy, with like 1,000 people in there just singing their hearts out. And these people, guys that come to these gigs, these 80s gigs, they know every word, they know every breath.
I would, yeah.
Yeah, and the thing with DJing and playing records is that you never get that record in that slump in a gig where a singer goes up to the mic and says, "Here's the new one."
Here's a new direction.
Listen, I remember Spandau did that at Live Aid, and Tony walks up to the mic and said, "Here's the new one," and you could feel 2 billion people around the world all at once go,
Love that. What? Listen, obviously the 80s had lots of different genres of music. I was very much into the electronic stuff. I loved Haircut 100. Depeche Mode were my idols. Thompson Twins. Do you play the pop side of it as well as the electronic stuff?
Oh, listen, I play a little bit of everything. I also play a little bit of 70s to go with it, because to understand the 80s, you have to, we were still listening to a lot of the late 70s stuff when we were in the 80s, and so I want to take you back there. I don't just want to say this is the records on your favourite 80s mix album. I want to take you back to what we were listening to at that point, and it wasn't just the 80s; it was a little bit of late 70s as well. And I think to understand the 80s, you have to understand what came slightly before it. Listen, but the thing that you mentioned with the electronic stuff, what it showed then, it wasn't just about. It was about invention, the 80s, and we changed the way we were listening to stuff through electronically and technically, and we also changed how we were making music, where we started to use synths, and so everything was changing. And for me, the 80s was about a time when everything burst into colour. Everything before that was black and white. Like magazines like NME and Melody Maker, everything was black and white, and all of a sudden it burst into smash hits on the face, and that was the 80s.
Speaking of that, Martin, I mean, I used to travel around on the tubes as a young man, and it was quite a dangerous place to go, but I wasn't in full makeup like you guys, because it was. I remember it because there was the punk scene, and then it went into the new romantic scene. It was quite a look. You guys from the Blitz Club. What was it like back then, as you were travelling around and dressing up like that?
Well, listen, let me tell you something. I never used to wear that like 9 till 5 every day. I mean, I looked as rough as everybody else did, but yeah, when we went out, and what the new romantic scene was about was, it's always in contrast to the thing that came before it in pop culture. And like you said, it was punk that came before, which was always about, dressing down and wearing your leather and your ripped jeans, and so talking about there was no future. Where being a new romantic as such in those days was all about ambition, and about everything had to be colour, and about what we wore was colour, and it was about being. It didn't matter who you were. You were the lead character in your own personal movie. You could be the hero for the day, and that was being a new romantic.
Question: when you were on tour, Did you have a makeup artist with you, or did you stand in the mirror putting your own eyeliner on before you went out?
Well, I used to put it on, but it used to be my mum's. It wasn't my eyeliner. But listen, it was days that I look back at so fondly because, we all laugh about it now. We laugh about the fashion, but you have to understand how that fashion overtook the high street. And even Princess Di at that point was wearing that big hair and big shoulder pads that all came from those nights in the Blitz. And also it was a wonderful place to grow up because it was not just being free with what you wore and your clothes, it was being free sexually as well as your sexuality. You could be who you wanted to be. In that club, there were boys kissing boys and girls kissing girls, and no one blinked an eyelid. And that is something that I took with me and I have handed down to my kids to say you accept people for who they are. And that is one of the loveliest things I think about being involved in that whole pop culture when I was a kid.
Martin, you're an Arsenal fan. Would you have worn all that clobber on the North Bank at Highbury?
No, but it would in the clock end.
Or the clock end.
No, at the time, I think everybody was wearing those butcher coats. Do you remember the long white coats that everybody used to go to football in? I can't imagine why, but they did. And so people were dressing up back in the day to go to football anyway.
What do you think of Arsenal? I know you and Roman are big fans. What do you think about your season? You're not quite there, are you? Every season.
Well, we've lost the engine room, haven't we? We've lost, that Saka. We look. Losing Saka isn't just about losing a great player. It's about losing that whole Saka-Erdegaard movement that you have, that kind of like central engine room for being creative within the team, and we've lost that at the moment. But we're not the only ones, I mean, I would
You're
say
going to say Tottenham now.
I would say it's bad, but look at Spurs.
Knew that was coming.
Martin, everyone seems to have written off Arsenal for winning the Premier League. Do you think you can still do it? It
fills my heart with joy to see Man United and Spurs doing so badly.
Do you think you can still win the Premier League, Martin?
No, I don't. I think me and Ro both looked at each other a few weeks back, and we knew that it had gone. But listen, for me, winning is all about being in Champions League. Football for me is the Champions League, and I love it so much. That's controversial, but it is my favourite football.
Martin, listen, thanks so much for joining us today. If people want to come to one of your Back to the 80s gigs, how can they find out about that? Is there a website which does it?
Yeah, I want to go.
Yeah, you got to go to martinkempdj.com, and it will be updated within the next few days with the whole of the rest of the year, because the rest of the year is getting to the point where we're sold out again.
Do you take requests? If I come to a gig, do you take requests?
I'll take a request from you.
Right. Okay. Well, apart from Depeche Mode, I want you to play Orange Juice, Rip It Up.
Can't play that one. That one's broken.
I used to say when I was a DJ. Oh, no, I broke that.
What's your absolute guaranteed floor filler? Never fails.
80s one, I would say Don't Leave Me This Way, Communards, People Love. There's loads out there.
Martin, I think you should have either gone for Spandau Ballet or Wham, basically, because of your family.
Zinchenko.
Thanks for joining us. Say hello to Roman for us. Say hello to Shirley for us. All right, top man. Thanks, Martin.
Guys.
Cheers.
Bye.
Martin.
Bye.
But I like all of your cues, but it's all silly crap. Whereas mine is an education. And it's something that you probably don't know, any of you. It's cue for Queens Coronation Cup. Have you heard of the Queens Coronation Cup?
I've heard of it. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I've heard of it.
It's a horse race, isn't it?
No, the Queen's Coronation Cup was a one-off football tournament to celebrate the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II. Arsenal / West Ham fan hates Millwall. West Ham fan hates Millwall. It was between 4 English and 4 Scottish clubs held in Glasgow in May 1953. This tournament was an exhibition tournament, and it was called the Empire Exhibition Tournament. It was held very high regard by football clubs, as at the time it allowed teams to test themselves against teams from another country days before European football was going to start. So I'm going to go through the teams with you. I'm going to go through the quarterfinals, semi-finals, and I'm going to tell you who won. That is how exciting it is. So we have Celtic, Rangers, Aberdeen and Hibs. We have Arsenal, United, Newcastle United and Spurs. Okay, quarterfinals, Celtic 1, Arsenal 0. Manchester United 2, Rangers 1. Newcastle 4, Aberdeen 0. Hibs 1, Spurs 1. Spurs went through extra time. How does that work? Maybe penalties or something. It was 1-1. Anyway, I don't know what happened. Maybe they scored in extra time. Then, so you get through then to the semi-finals. Okay, so Hibs beat Spurs.
It's going well, this.
It's a stinker.
They went through the extra time, then Hibs beat Spurs in the replay. We'll just edit that bit out.
They had a replay?
Yeah. So the semi-finals, it worked out well because it was 2 English versus 2 Scottish team. Celtic beat United 2-1. Hibs beat Newcastle 4-0, which meant it was an all-Scottish final. Who won? Celtic met Hibs at Hampden Park. 117,000 people turned up to watch it. Celtic won 2-0 and they were the unofficial champions of Britain. So not only did they do the quadruple, they were the unofficial champions of Britain. So that is the Queens Coronation Cup. A good education for you all.
And it's only ever happened once?
It's only happened once because she only got coronated once, Joe.
Why was there no King's Coronation Cup? Unfair.
I don't know. They should do it, though, shouldn't they? So that is my
cue. You probably want Burnley in it.
That is not any silly crap. That is an educational piece, and I think everybody thoroughly enjoyed that.
I preferred Tubes' Bruce Willis story.
Whilst Helen decides that I've won, let's do What's Wrong with Football. Helen?
John Morris, people who still refer to the Premier League as the Premiership. It hasn't been called the Premiership since 2007. That really annoys me as well. A lot of managers are guilty of that.
I quite like it because it's old school. It's how it started.
Premier League is woke nonsense.
Yeah, I'm team Premiership.
Yeah, but it's the way that John finishes his message by saying it hasn't been called the Premiership since 2007. Grow up.
Wasn't it Premier League and then became Premiership and then went back to Premier League?
Don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, so maybe
when it first started, it was the Barclays Premier League, wasn't it?
There's woke nonsense somewhere in there. I don't know where.
What's wrong with football? Elliot Baker says long journeys away fans have to do for midweek league games. Yeah,
I thought they liked that though. I thought they liked going down the pub going, I was only one of 12. We went. But yeah.
At the final whistle, when you're watching from your sofa and you think, it's going to take them half an hour to get out the ground yet, and then they've got their 4-hour coach journey back. Mark Chadwick, some clubs treating fans as customers. Fans are the only reasons that club exists. No.
I think it's been customers for a while in the Premier League and the higher things. No, it's just the lower divisions where they
consumers.
Yeah. I think that's just the nature of football these days, I think.
Probably.
But it shouldn't be. Getting treated like a mug.
Well, the one thing that I always struggle with is they go, the fans is the extra man, yeah? That's who you are. And yet, we're doing really well together. When the team get promotion or win a cup, everyone in the team gets a bonus. What happens to the fans is they get to have to pay more. It should be we've done really well. We're going to reduce the amount of your season tickets next year.
At Norwich, you got a free drink at Christmas.
Yay! What did you get?
I got a Bovril.
Oh, nice.
Would not get offered an eggnog or something like that.
You could have got an alcoholic drink, but I didn't want one.
Pete's season ticket holder at his Tunnel Club at Tottenham. He got a bottle of gin and some steak knives with his name on.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Some steak knives.
Any more WWFs?
Yeah.
What have you vegetarian?
We cut your broccoli with it, can't you? Dioltois says, what's wrong with football is Rory Delap's son not wanging the ball in the box from a throw-in.
That's a good point. That's a good one. Why is he not taking throw-ins?
Yeah. The last one is my favourite. Jake says, stutter run-ups for penos.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
John Aldridge started those, didn't he?
That could make it into woke nonsense, actually. I'll quickly do, whilst Helen's deciding I've won, let's do a quick woke nonsense. Robbie Clark says 5 usable subs, so woke.
Yeah.
Stagman says the podcast warning about Cole Palmer, woke nonsense. Fair point. Jay McDermott says not allowing blood on shirts anymore, woke nonsense.
That is woke. Yeah.
That's
Terry
true.
Butcher would be rolling in his grave if he's dead.
Dave says, this is my favourite. FA Cup games being changed to 6 p.m. kickoffs on Saturday for international TV audience. My team Wigan are playing Mansfield tomorrow at 6 p.m. Mansfield and Wigan fans don't want to watch Mansfield v Wigan, let alone international TV audience. utter woke nonsense. And James Brown says darts players no longer having a pint on stage is utter woke nonsense. Have I won, Helen? Have I won?
You have. I just really must. Robbie, Terry Butcher's still alive.
I know.
Very much so. Oh, okay. All right.
With all that blood
Tim,
loss.
Did I win?
Tim, you no. God,
Who won
no.
then?
One of the reasons why you haven't won is because I'm annoyed at you. Because I thought Tim's going to do quick footballers, and then he's going to find a list of all the quickest footballers, and then he's going to play like who. Yeah, like he's done twice before. So I did a load of massive research on the fastest footballers that's been recorded so that I could cheat and win. And I've wasted so much time.
Was I right? And Beppe's the quickest.
So who's won the
speed
keys then? Come on, the listener wants to
Thierry
know.
Henry. This says a speed of 39.2 kilometres an hour. Thierry Henry, followed by Mickey van der Ven, Kyle Walker. So no, it's got to be Tubes. Tubes, bringing us back through the gorgeousness of Tubes' question and telling us some bits and pieces that we didn't know about the chair outside and people running about for Bruce Willis. So Tubes is the winner because I loved that.
Fair.
Well done, Tubes.
Thank you very much.
Tubes.
Good.
That's it for this week's show. We'll be back on Friday where we've got questions and quiz. We will see you then. Bye.
See ya.